The wreckage had been sitting in the Nevada desert for 3 months before anyone realized it wasn't human-made. Dr. Marcus Webb stood at the edge of the crater, his weathered hands shielding his eyes from the scorching sun. The vessel was massive, easily the size of a football stadium, its hull a dull metallic gray that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "It's dead, Doc," said Lieutenant Sarah Morrison, kicking at a piece of debris. "Whatever powered this thing is long gone." Marcus ran his fingers along the alien metal. It was cool to the touch despite the desert heat, and covered in symbols that hurt to look at for too long. "Dead doesn't mean useless, Lieutenant. The Apollo 13 was dead too, but we brought it home." Above them, military helicopters circled like vultures. The government had quarantined the site within hours of the crash, but Marcus had been called in specifically because of his work with experimental propulsion systems. If anyone could figure out alien technology, they believed it would be him. Three weeks later, in a converted aircraft hangar at Area 51, Marcus's team had made their first breakthrough. Dr. Jennifer Rodriguez, the team's xenolinguist, stood before a holographic projection of the alien symbols they'd extracted from the ship's data banks. "It's a salvage log," Jennifer explained, her voice tight with barely contained excitement. "The previous owners, they called themselves the Valerian Collective. They abandoned this ship here deliberately." "Why?" asked Colonel James Patterson, the military liaison assigned to the project. Jennifer pulled up another screen, her expression darkening. "Because they deemed it irreparably compromised. The power core is burned out, the weapon systems are fried, and the jump drive is, well, the translation is rough, but essentially cosmically misaligned." Marcus leaned forward. "So they just dumped their trash on our planet?" "Not exactly trash," Jennifer corrected. "The log mentions the hull is constructed from something called void-forged titanium, apparently nearly indestructible. They just couldn't justify the resource cost of repairing the internals. In their words, it would be cheaper to build new than fix old." 6 months into the project, the hangar had transformed into a fusion of human and alien technology. Marcus stood on a scaffolding platform inside the ship's cavernous engine room, watching as his team installed a modified nuclear fusion reactor where the alien power core had once resided. "This is insane," muttered Dr. Robert Kim, the lead engineer, as he calibrated the connections. "We're basically hot-wiring an alien spacecraft with human tech." "Insane works," Marcus replied with a grin. "The Valorians designed this ship to interface with their crystalline power matrices. But the underlying principles are the same: energy conversion, thrust generation, life support. We just need to speak the ship's language in our own dialect." Across the bay, Jennifer worked with a team of programmers, replacing the ship's AI core with a modified quantum computer. The alien operating system had been locked with encryption they couldn't break, so they'd done what humans did best. They'd bypassed it entirely and written. 9 months after the crash, the ship, now christened Resilience, hovered above the desert floor for the first time under human control. Marcus sat in the captain's chair, his hands trembling slightly as he gripped the controls they'd installed. "All systems nominal," reported Robert from engineering. "Fusion reactor at 40% capacity. Gravity plating stable. Hull integrity at 100%. Colonel Patterson watched from the ground via video link. "You're cleared for test flight, Dr. Webb. Take her up slowly." Marcus pushed the throttle forward. The Resilience rose smoothly, its repurposed engines humming with power. Where the Valorians had used exotic matter and quantum fields, humans had substituted electromagnetic drives and good old-fashioned thrust vectoring. It wasn't elegant, but it worked. "Altitude 5,000 feet, Lisa announced. 10,000. 15,000. "Doc, she's handling beautifully." Through the view screen, Earth spread out below them. Marcus felt a surge of pride. The Valorians had thrown this ship away like garbage. Humans had turned it into something new. The test flight should have been routine. But as the Resilience reached the edge of space, alarms suddenly blared across the bridge. Contact! Lisa shouted. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL. Oh God, they're Valerian signatures. On the view screen, 3 sleek alien warships materialized, their hulls pristine and gleaming. A communication channel crackled to life, and a translated voice filled the bridge. Primitive vessel, you are operating stolen Valerian property. Power down immediately. Marcus's hand hovered over the weapons console. They'd managed to restore 2 of the ship's original plasma cannons, though ammunition was limited. He opened a channel. This is Captain Marcus Webb of the Starship Resilience. Your people abandoned this vessel on our world. We've claimed it legally under salvage rights. There was a pause. Then the Valerian responded, its tone dripping with condescension. The Resilience wasn't faster than the Valerian warships. Its weapons weren't more powerful. Its shields were cobbled together from salvaged components and human ingenuity. But Marcus and his crew had one advantage the Valorians didn't expect: they had nothing to lose and everything to prove. The first plasma bolt struck the lead Valerian ship dead center. Its shields flared but held. The return fire hammered into the Resilience, but the void-forged hull, the very material the Valorians had come to reclaim, absorbed the impact without a scratch. They can't pierce the hull. Robert shouted. That's why they wanted it back. Marcus grinned fiercely. Then let's show them what happens when you underestimate humanity. Lisa, evasive pattern delta. Robert, divert all power to weapons. Jennifer, I need you to hack their communication frequencies. The battle raged for 20 minutes. The Resilience took hit after hit, its human-made system sparking and failing, but the alien hull held firm. Meanwhile, Jennifer managed to inject a virus into the Valerian fleet's communications network, a simple but devastating piece of malware that overloaded their targeting computers. When the Valerian ships finally retreated into FTL, the Resilience was battered but unbroken. Marcus leaned back in his chair, exhausted but triumphant. Take us home, Lisa. As Earth grew larger on the view screen,